I watched that 12-part story, so you don't have to. That's Ashley. She's a baker, and it's one of her orders for a cake that she got that ended up letting her know that the man she was dating was actually married. So her and this man have been dating since January, and she met him when she went to go get her car service. And the day that she actually went in, she was really busy. She wasn't really thinking about anything else besides getting what she needed done and then heading out. So apparently he was like trying to, spit game at her, and she was not concerned at all. But the second time she went up there because she had forgot something, she was like, wait a minute, you're kind of cute. And he was like, yeah, I was trying to get at you the first time you were here, but you weren't giving me, the time of day. And she was like, yeah, no, I wasn't, but I got time today though. And so they ended up sparking a conversation, which led to them eventually dating, right? And she said for a long time, she really loved the relationship. He was one of her greatest love. At one point, she thought he was the love of her life. So she started going to his job all the time. She would bring him like little cake samples or like anything that she baked that she wanted to like share with him and his coworkers. She would, and his coworkers knew of her. He would introduce her to his coworkers, his higher ups. He would like parade her around. He would be kissing on her. They would be holding hands. And so she never thought anything of it. Also, he had told her that he had a son. So she started bringing little cookies and little treats for the son as well. And whenever she packed up a treat, a sample, anything, she always makes sure to put her business logo, her contact information, all of that attached. And so things didn't start falling apart until Father's Day. Basically, she decided to make him a cake for Father's Day, and she also included some cookies. Ashley decided to make a red velvet cake for this man, even though she doesn't have red velvet cake available on her menu. She knew that was his favorite flavor, and then she took it to his job and delivered it. Now, during their relationship, Fridays were the day that they spent the most time together. They would either go out, spend time inside, have a little date night. Once she dropped off the cake and she didn't hear immediate feedback or anything like that, she wasn't necessarily concerned because she was like, I know the cake is good. Like, I'm not worried about that. And he loves my baking. Then Ashley started thinking, well, his birthday is actually coming up and I don't want to just like make a cake. What else can I do? While she's doing that, she ends up getting an inquiry for her bakery business for a cake to be made. So Ashley hops on the call. They're doing a regular consultation, and the lady tells her, like, okay, it's my husband's birthday, and I really want to get a cake made for him. And Ashley's like, okay, great. Like, let's talk about flavors. And this is where things kind of went left. The lady's like, oh, I've had one of your red velvet cakes. I was wondering if you can make me a red velvet cake. And Ashley's like, oh, I actually don't have red velvet on my menu. She's like, actually, how did you hear about us? The lady on the phone, who's the wife, ends up saying, well, my husband actually brought one of your cakes home on Father's Day. It was a red velvet cake, and the whole family enjoyed it, and it was delicious. And then it gave me the idea that since red velvet is his favorite flavor, I would go ahead and contact you to go ahead and make another cake for him for his birthday. And so at this point, gears are going inside of Ashley's head, and she's like, what the hell? At this point, the wife has told her the man's name, which matches up with her boyfriend's name. Then she told her the red velvet favorite flavor thing, and she's like, okay, that's odd. And then the whole Father's Day situation with that special red velvet that she made for her boyfriend going home to his wife and sharing it was wild, right? So then Ashley's like, okay, I got to do my best to keep this lady on the phone and talking, right? So she's like, okay, well, how many people, are you wanting me to make this cake for? It kind of dictates the size, which dictates the price. So then the wife says, oh, it's only going to be a small gathering. It's just going to be me, the kids, and my husband. Ashley is mind blown. She's like, kids? She's like, okay, well, give me a number. Like, what does that look like? And so the wife is like, well, it's me, my husband, and our 3 children. Ashley is floored. She's like, this man told me about his son, but turns out he has an oldest son, a middle daughter, and then the youngest son that he told her about. And so now a lot of information is lining up for her. It went from like speculating to denying to now it's pretty much obvious. So then Ashley's like, okay, well, you're just going to need like a 6-inch cake. Let me go ahead and get like the invoice information, like the address. She's like, do you want me to deliver it? The wife is like, yeah, I'm going to be at work that day. Is there any way that you can go ahead and deliver it? And so remember, Ashley goes to the house on Friday. So she's like, okay. So the wife ends up sending her the address that she's going to deliver the cake to. And you guys guessed it, the address matches up with the address that she goes to go visit on Fridays. So she's obviously devastated. She's confused. She's angry. She's sad. So when Ashley put up part 4, she was in a position of being like, what should I do now, guys? Like, give me advice. Should I call her? Should I deliver the cake? Should I tell her? Should my sister deliver it? Because her sisters are part of the business too. So she was asking for plain advice. And the next part, she was addressing how people were coming at her because the cake that she was going to make was like a Betty Crocker cake. It's just about efficiency. That's just what that whole situation is about. And then she goes into it because people in the comments were asking her, like, how did you go to this man's house and never see that there was evidence of him having a family? So the way she explained it was Ashley's like, when you go to this man's house, it's a two-story house. I only stayed downstairs, which was also where his bedroom was. And then she went to the living room, the family room, and the kitchen. She never went upstairs. And then when it came to all the artwork, in her words, it looked like an art studio in there. So there was no pictures of the family, just artwork. So there was no inclination that there was more than just the son that he had told her about, because there was plenty of toys in the family room. So she's like, okay, I see the son stuff. So that clicked. She never saw any indication of any other family. And she also had no reason to look for anybody else as well. And then people were also asking, like, how was she able to go there on Fridays and never run into the rest of the family? And so how she explained it in another part was, so basically on Fridays, the wife runs a club in San Francisco. I guess they're all located in Oakland. So she would be either at work or running this club on Fridays and Saturdays. And the husband knew that. And when it came to the kids were always at the grandma's house on Fridays. So after Ashley would leave, because she has a kid as well, she has a daughter, she would never spend the night at this man's house. She would have to go home and relieve the babysitter. Once Ashley left, the husband would go pick up the kids from the grandmother's house, and it would be like no one was ever there, right? So that's how he was able to keep up this ruse for so long. So then she continues on with the story time and basically tells us that she had posted that story like on a Friday or on a Saturday. And again, they hang out on Fridays. And so he was contacting her. He was like, hey, what's going on? Let's hang out. I want to see you. And she basically was like, wow, I really can't see this man's face. I just like, talked to this wife. So she basically told him, like, hey, I have a stomach bug. I don't feel good and I don't want you to see me like this. Like, let's not hang out, right? So then she didn't speak to him Friday, Saturday. They didn't talk again until Sunday. So they hop on the phone Sunday night, and she said the conversation was interesting. He initially tried to do like small talk and ask her about her stomach and if she's seen the doctor. She just couldn't even like keep up the ruse. She was just like, hey, I know everything. Da, da, da. And at first, he's kind of shocked. He doesn't know how she knows all this information, but he didn't hide anything. He was very forthcoming once she approached him and confronted him about the wife and all of the things that she found out. The husband and Ashley do not follow each other on social media, which obviously made it easy for him to hide his life as well. But it also made it so that he didn't see her story time yet either. So she was like, I'm pretty sure he hasn't seen the videos either. And despite a lot of you guys being in the comments and telling her, like, don't talk to him, just ghost him, just leave him alone, she felt like for her own sanity, she needed to understand why and how he was able to do all of this. Like how a lot of you guys guessed in the comments, he was having trouble at home. Their marriage was on the brink of ending, and that's why he was sleeping downstairs in separate bedrooms. According to him, they had been separated for about 8 months, and the divorce paperwork have been filed and turned in. However, nothing has been finalized yet. Once Ashley heard that, she was like, okay, that's an excuse, but it doesn't, justify your behavior. At the end of the day, you used me. You weren't having good communication, affection, connection with your wife. And so you sought that out with me and you were able to find that. And I'm happy for you. I'm a very generous person, love loving on people. But at the end of the day, you brought me into this situation without my consent. And then you strung me along on top of that. Like, I was completely in the dark and you didn't communicate with me at all. I actually felt like his actions were completely selfish. All the husband kept saying was, I loved you so much. Like, I knew I was being selfish, but I was being selfish because I loved you so much. And she was just like, that's not okay. Towards the end of the conversation, she kind of told him, like, had you been honest with me and said, hey, this is the situation, me and my wife are getting a divorce. Once I have all this figured out, like, I'd love to get to know you. I'd love to see where this goes. She probably would have been open to it. She would have continued being outside, like she said, but she would have at least given him a chance. But because he was unable to communicate the full extent of the situation and be honest with her, she's like, it's done for. Like, you ruined this possible future that we have with each other. Ashley also let the husband know that she did make a story and that it had gone viral, and that if he didn't tell the wife in the next 24 hours, that Ashley was going to tell her herself. I mean, at the end of the day, Ashley wanted to tell her herself anyway. She was like, I want to make sure that nothing is omitted, that you don't lie to her, that she gets the full truth because she deserves that, right? At this point, Ashley had also decided that she was no longer going to make the cake either. The whole situation was just making her completely uncomfortable. She was like, it's his responsibility to be honest with his wife and tell her everything. If he doesn't, I definitely will. She let the husband know, this is going to be our last conversation. I wish you the best. It's really sad the situation that you're in. I'm not going to be a part of your healing. You ruined that. Ashley was kind of like wrapping up the story time and being like, I don't want my bakery to be known for drama. I want to make sure you guys go follow her page. If you're in the Bay Area, like, order a cake for her. They look really pretty. She actually did end up coming up with a final update and letting us know that she did end up talking to the wife. And she ends up saying that she had to text the wife and be like, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to cancel the order. Your husband contacted me. You should know why. And the wife is like genuinely confused. She's like, what? My husband? Like, what are you talking about? So at this point, Ashley knew that the wife had no idea still. So the wife asked her, like, can you call me? She ends up sharing the text message, I think. Ashley asked her to call her. The wife said she was busy. When she kind of alluded to the situation, then she's like, okay, I'm going to jump on the phone with you right now. So the wife and her jump on the call, and she basically explains to her like who she is, what's going on with the cake order and all of that. And come to find out, just like the comments were saying, the wife did have an idea of who Ashley was, but what the husband had told her was, oh, Ashley is an old friend from school and she opened up a bakery and I wanted to support the bakery. And that's why he was bringing home all the treats. That's the excuse that he gave the wife. But the wife had a gut feeling that there was more to the story. The wife told her she's not upset with Ashley. She was on the brink of divorcing this man. She was just kind of deciding, do I go down the difficult road of splitting assets and figuring out custody, or do I go down the difficult road of, fixing this broken marriage? And she was like, this helped me decide that I'm going to go towards the divorce. And she was like thankful. And she said she sounded really done and just over it. She wasn't like crying or emotional. She was just saying, okay, like she just sound, like when a woman's done, she's done. The wife did ask Ashley, like, why'd you end up deciding to tell me? And Ashley's like, well, I posted this story on social media because it's my outlet, and the story did go viral, and I wanted you to hear it from me or the husband, instead of having to put two and two together on the internet. Ashley acknowledges that they're husband and wife, and they might decide to sit down, talk it out, go to therapy, and work things out, and that's okay. That's their business, but that's no longer Ashley's business. She's like, I'm done with this man. I'm done with the situation. I'm moving forward with my life. So I think it's really unfortunate. You can tell like she was taking several breaks throughout the story time to like kind of collect herself. Like it's heartbreaking. Like she thought they were going to blend families, that, this whole future was like building out in her head over the last 7 months. And it's unfortunate that it ended like this. But let me tell you, girl, it's better to find out now than when you do blend your lives and you do have, like kids on the way. And I'm wishing you the best. I'm wishing your bakery the best. If I'm ever in the Bay Area, I'm gonna grab me a cookie or two. Either way, I appreciate you guys. You guys tagged me in this bunch. I wanted to make sure I got it out to you guys. Bye.